So next goes to aerial stem modifications. Under aerial stem modifications, what happens means, in this first one, that is nothing but tendril. In this first one, that is nothing but a tendril. In this tendril, can you tell me, tendril means long, wiry, coiled, sensitive structure, means it is nothing but one, it is a long, and second, it is a wiry like structure, long, wiry. Third, it is a sensitive structure, and fourth, it coils like a watch spring. Coils like, which spring means watch spring. So tendrils, these tendrilar plants can we show whether the stems, whether they are weak stems, or whether the stems, whether they are strengthened stems. In tendrilar climbers, always the stem shows weakened stems. That means these stems, they cannot withstand with their own strength. That means with the help of tendrils, these tendrils, these are nothing but long, wiry, sensitive coils, which coils like a watch spring. What is meant by sensitive nature means, due to the sensitivity nature, if they touches any support, immediately it coils around the support and helps in climbing, which plays an important role in order to receive sufficient amount of sunlight, and it can prepare their own food materials sufficiently. That means as it is one of the sensitive structure, if it touches which support means if it touches any support, immediately what happens means, immediately it coils around the support. Immediately it coils around the support and helps in climbing, and helps in which process means, and helps in climbing, due to which what happens means, whether it can receive sufficient amount of sunlight, due to which whether they can prepare their own food materials by means of a process namely known as photosynthesis, due to which the sufficient food material is prepared. Yes, sufficient amount of food material is prepared. And can you tell me what are the examples for tendrils means? They given one example, that is nothing but gourds. One example, that is nothing but gourds. Can you tell me what are called as gourds? That is nothing but watermelon. That is nothing but watermelon first. Second one, that is nothing but pumpkin. And the third one, that is nothing but cucumber. And the third one, that is nothing but cucumber. That means these gourds, plants namely known as watermelon plant, pumpkin plant, and as well as cucumber plants, whether they are showing tendrils means, yes, these three of them, they are showing tendrils. But which one is modified into tendril here? Whether that axillary bud is modified into tendril, or whether the terminal bud is modified into tendril. That means in these three plants, the axillary bud, where it plays an important role in modification, that is nothing but axillary bud is modified into tendril. Axillary bud is modified into tendril, due to the help of this axillary buds which are modified into tendril, due to the sensitivity nature, if they touches any support, immediately coils around the support and helps in climbing in order to receive sufficient amount of sunlight, and they can prepare their own food materials by means of a process namely known as photosynthesis. And what is that? Another example means, that is nothing but grapes. That is nothing but which one? That is nothing but grapes. What is the scientific name of grapes means? Vitis vinifera. Vitis vinifera. And here in these grapes, which bud is modified into tendril means axillary bud is modified into tendril? No. In this axillary bud is not modified into tendril. In the grapes, that is nothing but Vitis vinifera. Which bud is modified into tendril means, in this the terminal bud is modified into tendril in a plant namely known as grapes, which is none other than Vitis vinifera, due to which it helps in climbing and in order to receive sufficient amount of sunlight in order to prepare their food materials by means of a process namely known as a photosynthesis. This is about tendril. Once again, tendril, whether it is long, wiry, coiled, sensitive structure which coils like a watch spring, yes. and if it touches any, due to the sensitivity nature, if they touches any support, immediately coils around the support and helps in climbing in order to receive sufficient amount of sunlight in order to prepare their food material by means of photosynthesis. What are that examples means here? One, it is nothing but gourds. Under gourds, how many examples means? 3 examples. One, it is watermelon. Second one, it is pumpkin. And third one, it is cucumber. In this, which bud is modified into tendril? Axillary buds are modified into tendril. But whereas in grapes, that is nothing but Vitis vinifera. In this, terminal bud is modified into tendril. This is about tendrils. And one more thing here. In this tendrils, can you tell me how many plants they are showing tendrils means? In this, the plant namely known as, that we will discuss under leaf modifications, not here. And the next goes to phylloclades. What is meant by phylloclades? Phyllo means leaf. Phyllo means leaf. Clade means it is nothing but a stem or branches. That is nothing but which one? Stem or branches. That means in phylloclades, mainly stem, sometimes branches are also modified into leaf-like structure, and they can perform photosynthesis in order to prepare their own food materials. What happens to the leaves in these phylloclades? Why? What happens to the leaves in phylloclades means these phylloclades, whether they are present in xerophytic plants means yes. They are present in which plants? Xerophytic plants. That means in the xerophytic plants, larger amount of water is available? No. There the less amount of water is available. That less amount of water, if it is available, if it shows green expanded flattened leaves means more rate of transpiration occurs, due to which these phylloclade examples, they are going to die very soon. In order to protect themselves, what happens means these leaves in xerophytic plants, either they may be reduced to scaly leaves, either they may be reduced to scaly leaves, either they may be reduced to spines, either they may be reduced to scaly leaves, either they may be reduced to spines in order to overcome water deficiency. That means in this phylloclades, how many examples they given means 3 examples they given. One, it is nothing but opentia. One, it is nothing but which plant means opentia. In opentia, what happens means in this main stem, in this what happens means main stem and its branches also, main stem and its branches, they are modified into, they are modified into green flattened photosynthetic structures, green flattened photosynthetic structures, green flattened photosynthetic structures which can plays an important role in photosynthesis, which plays an important role in photosynthesis. That means in opentia, what I told you, that is nothing but the main stem and its branches, they are modified into green flattened photosynthetic structures, due to which they can prepare their own food material by means of a process namely known as photosynthesis. That means what is the diagram means? See here, this is the diagram belonging to, this is the diagram belonging to opentia. This is the diagram belonging to opentia. In this what happens means its branches also stores food material means this is also called as branches of opentia. That means main stem and branches as they are green colored flattened structures where they can perform photosynthesis. And what happens to the leaves here? I already told you. The leaves, what happens to the leaves? Leaves are modified into group of spines. Leaves are modified into group of spines. Leaves are modified into which one here? Group of spines. These are the leaves which are modified into group of spines. This is nothing but group of spines. And what happens means in this some spines they are modified into thread-like structures. In the some spines, they are modified into which structures? Thread-like structures, fiber-like structures, thread-like structures. That means group of spines plus these thread-like structures can be called what is called as these thread-like. Some spines, they are modified into fiber-like structures or thread-like structures. These are structures are nothing but barbs. These structures are nothing but barbs. That means in opentia, leaves are reduced to spines. In that some spines, they are reduced into thread-like structures or fiber-like structures. These thread-like structures or fiber-like structures are called as barbs. That means a group of spines plus barbs is equal to areole. Is equal to which one here? Areole. That means if this opentia shows 10 areoles, if this opentia shows 10 areoles, if this opentia, if it is showing 10 areoles, that means it shows how many nodes means it shows 10 nodes only. It shows how many nodes means it shows 10 nodes only. Why? Because group of spines, they are nothing but the modified leaves, no? That means this one leaf is one areole is equal to one node, no? What I said, 10 nodes is equal to 10 areoles only. 10 nodes is equal to 10 areoles only. This is about opentia. Now in this opentia, it is one of the good example for succulent xerophyte. It is one of the good example for succulent xerophyte. What is meant by succulent xerophyte? That means in this stems and branches, as they are storing food materials in the form of in this stems and branches, as they are storing food materials by means of a process namely known as photosynthesis, and they are storing water in the form of mucilage, due to which they are modified into succulent structures. So this xerophyte, it is also called as succulent xerophyte. Succulent xerophyte. And what happens means these succulent xerophytes, whether they are facing drought conditions externally, yes, these succulent xerophytes, that is nothing but opentia, they are facing drought conditions. They are facing which conditions? Drought conditions externally. They are facing drought conditions externally. But whether they are facing drought conditions internally? No. Why? Because here the water is stored in the form of mucilage. So it cannot face, they cannot faces drought conditions internally. They cannot facing drought conditions, which one? Internally. So as it is one of the good example for succulent xerophyte, that means in the succulent xerophyte, in the opentia, water is stored in the form of mucilage, due to which they are facing drought conditions only externally, but they are not facing drought conditions internally. What is the reason? Means here the water is stored in the form of mucilage, so they are not facing drought conditions internally. This is about the first example belonging to phylloclades. So next example, that is nothing but second example, euphorbia. In euphorbia, what happens means in this leaves are reduced to spines. Leaves are reduced to spines. In this, leaves are reduced to spines. That means which one is the photosynthetic structure? Means which one is the photosynthetic structure? Means in this it shows a cylindrical shaped phylloclade. Cylindrical, which shaped phylloclade? Cylindrical shaped, green color, cylindrical shaped, which color? Means green color phylloclade. Green color phylloclade. That means in euphorbia, leaves are reduced to spines. In order to perform the function of leaves, which one is modified into photosynthetic structure? Means in this cylindrical shaped green colored phylloclade, as it performs photosynthesis and it also stores water, and it also stores, what happens means it also stores water in the form of which in the form of mucilage. In the form of which one? Mucilage. Can we call this one as a stem succulent? Yes, it is called as a stem succulent. This euphorbia, it is also called as a stem succulent. That means whether it faces drought conditions externally, yes, it faces drought conditions externally, but it does not faces drought conditions internally. This is about euphorbia. In euphorbia, leaves are reduced to spines. In euphorbia, which one is modified into photosynthetic structures? That is nothing but the stem is modified into, in this which one is modified into means stem is modified into photosynthetic structure which is present in cylindrical shaped, which is present in green color, which is nothing but phylloclade. And this euphorbia stem not only prepares their own food materials, they also stores water in the form of mucilage. So it is one of the good example for stem succulent, due to which whether they are facing drought conditions externally means yes, they are facing drought conditions externally but not internally. This is about the second example, that is nothing but euphorbia. And the third example, that is nothing but casuarina. In casuarina, which one, whether here the stem is modified into phylloclade, stem it is not modified into phylloclade. Which one is modified into phylloclade in stem? That means in casuarina stem itself it is not modified into phylloclade. That means what happens means in these branches are modified into phylloclade. In these branches are modified into phylloclade. Which shaped branches means these are nothing but needle shaped branches. Those are nothing but needle shaped phylloclades can be seen. Needle shaped phylloclades can be seen only in casuarina. In casuarina stem itself it is not modified into phylloclade. Branches are modified into phylloclades. In these branches means which shaped branches? Needle shaped branches are modified into phylloclades. In this casuarina, which type of phyllotaxy can be seen means in this casuarina, whole phyllotaxy can be seen. Which type of phyllotaxy can be seen means whole phyllotaxy can be seen. What is meant by whole phyllotaxy means, think this one is the stem. This is the node. In this node area, leaves are reduced to scaly leaf-like structures which are arranged in the form of a whorl. Scaly leaves which are present in the form of a whorl means whether it represents whole phyllotaxy. Yes, it represents whole phyllotaxy. This is about the phylloclades. Next goes to third modification, that is nothing but a cladophyll. What is meant by cladophyll means it is a variation of phylloclade. It is a variation of phylloclade. Which one is the variation of phylloclade means the cladophyll itself it is a variation of phylloclade. Why? Because see here in this cladophyll, what was the example they given means they given asparagus. Now can you tell me in asparagus how many types of modifications can be seen means 3 types of modifications can be seen. In this first one it is leaf modification. In this first one it is nothing but leaf modification. Leaf modifications are of how many types means it is of 2 types. One it is leaf on the main stem. Leaf on main stem reduced to spine. Reduced to spine. Leaf on main stem it is reduced to spine. Leaf on branches. Leaf on branches reduced to scaly leaf. Reduced to which one? Scaly leaf. And what happens in asparagus means already we studied at the time of root modification, that is nothing but it is showing a root modification. Which type of root modification it shows means a cluster of tuberous fasciculated Fasciculate. Cluster itself, it is nothing but fasciculated. A fasciculated tuberous fibrous roots can be seen in the under root modification. What is that one called as? Cluster of tuberous fibrous roots can be seen. Fibrous roots can be seen. What is the meaning of cluster? Means that is nothing but fasciculated. That is nothing but which one? Fasciculated. And next goes to leaf modification over and root modification over. Next goes to aerial stem modification, that which we are going to discuss now. Aerial stem modification. What is the aerial stem modification in this asparagus? In asparagus, the aerial stem modification itself, it is nothing but one internodal, what it is called as? One internodal cladophyll. One internodal cladophyll. That means aerial stem modification, it shows one internodal cladophyll. That means asparagus shows three types of modifications. Yes, leaf modification, leaf on main stem reduced to spine. Leaf on branches reduced to scaly leaf. Root modification, cluster of tuberous fibrous roots can be seen. And next, third one, that is nothing but aerial stem modification. That is nothing but cladophyll. It is nothing but variation of phylloclade. That means whether it shows one internodal cladophyll. Yes, it shows one internodal cladophyll. That means what happens means here, in this asparagus, cluster of what I'm saying here, cluster of one internodal cladophylls can be seen. Means yes, a cluster of one internodal cladophylls can be seen. When you watch the diagram, in the diagram the differentiation is clearly drawn in the diagram. You can observe there by seeing the diagram. So it can be observed by seeing the diagram. Seeing which one here? Seeing the diagram. So this is about cladophyll. This is about cladophyll. We completed this cladophyll also. And next goes to thorns. Next goes to thorns. These thorns, whether they are hard, woody, pointed like structures, means yes, these are hard, woody, pointed like structures. These are hard, woody, pointed like structures. Can you tell me what is the main function of the thorn? The main function of the thorn itself, it is hard, woody, pointed like structure. That means as it is pointed like structure, whether it plays an important role in protection. Yes, it is playing an important role in protection. It is playing an important role in protection. And what happens means these thorns, whether it plays an important role in reducing the rate of transpiration. Yes, it also helps in reducing the rate of transpiration. It also helps in reducing the rate of transpiration. That means as thorns are hard, woody, pointed like structures, due to the pointed like structure, it plays an important role in protection, and due to which it plays an important role in reducing the rate of transpiration. That means whether it is one of the xerophytic character. Yes, it is one of the xerophytic character. It is one of the xerophytic character in these thorns. How many examples they given? Means 2 examples they given. One, it is bougainvillea. Another one, it is citrus. Another one, it is called as citrus. One, it is bougainvillea, and the another one, it is citrus. In bougainvillea and in citrus, which bud is modified into thorn? That is nothing but axillary buds are modified into. Which buds are modified into thorn? Means axillary buds are modified into thorns. Axillary buds are modified into thorns in bougainvillea and as well as in citrus. This is about the thorns. Next goes to another modification, that is nothing but bulbil. Another modification, that is nothing but which one here? Bulbil. So in bulbil, what happens means branches are condensed. In this, which one are condensed? Branches are condensed. And these condensed branches, whether it is storing food materials, yes, they stores food materials. These condensed branches, they stores which one here? Food materials. That means, can you say this bulbil, it is one of the aerial stem modification which plays an important role in vegetative propagation? Yes, this bulbil, it is one of the aerial stem modification. It plays an important role in vegetative propagation. It plays an important role in which one here? Vegetative propagation. That means here the branches are condensed and it stores food materials. And it stores which one? Food materials. And these branches and these condensed branches, when it is getting separated from the mother plant, these condensed branches which stores food materials, if they are getting separated from the mother plant, if they are getting separated from mother plant, if they are getting separated from which one here? Mother plant, it develops into individual plant by developing which roots means by developing adventitious roots. By developing adventitious roots. In this, how many examples for bulbil means? The first example, that is nothing but Dioscorea. In this first, if under bulbil, the first example, that itself it is nothing but Dioscorea. It is one of the good example. In this Dioscorea, what happens means axillary vegetative bud is modified into bulbil. In this, which one is modified into bulbil in Dioscorea? Axillary vegetative bud is modified into bulbil in Dioscorea, which plays an important role in vegetative propagation, But whereas another plant, namely known as Agave americana, in Agave americana, which bud is modified into bulbil means axillary. What is the difference means here? Axillary floral bud is modified into bulbil, is modified into which one here? Bulbil in Agave americana. That means in Agave americana, that is nothing but axillary floral bud, whether it is present in the axil of the leaf or axil of the bract, means they are developing from the axil of the bract. They are developing from which one here? Axil of the bract. It is modified into bulbil. So I told here axillary floral. From the axil of the bract, floral bud will arise. That's why here what I told here, axillary floral bud which are developing from the axil of the bract, which develops into bulbil. But whereas in Dioscorea, axillary vegetative bud means whether they are developing from the axil of the leaf. Yes. They are developing from which one means axil of the vegetative organ. Axil of the vegetative organ, that is nothing but photosynthetic organ. That is nothing but a leaf. That's why I told here axillary vegetative bud is modified into bulbil in Dioscorea. Why? Because this axillary bud which is present in the axil of the vegetative organ, that is nothing but the photosynthetic organ, that is nothing but the leaf. That's why I told here axillary vegetative bud is modified into bulbil. So this we completed the aerial stem modifications.